Hi, I'm with Christine Reimer at Eclectic Gallery, and we have a show with some of your incredibly dynamic paintings. And I had the opportunity to talk with a group this week, and I was thinking, like, how can I really look at them and analyze them differently than, most people would? And your subject lends itself to that. And in the night, I was thinking, I can hear the paintings. I can hear the sound within these paintings. They're very, there's a cacophonous sound. And I like, first of all, the title is Chopin's Menagerie. Mm-hmm. And so you have like this swirling motion. There's a lot of movement in your work, but it's really the auditory aspect of it that intrigued me.
Yes.
And have you approached that with your work, or how did that come about?
Not specifically, but as soon as you mentioned it to me, I can see where that would come from, because it actually reminds me of years and years ago when I had an office job, and one of the older guys that worked in the office used to wear these very, very loud ties. And one day, one of the other people that worked in the office said to him, "Excuse me, George, I can't hear you over your tie." Because it was a loud tie. Oh. So, a loud painting, I mean, that's because that's what you said you thought it was quite loud, and I totally agree with that. It's definitely very expressive.
Exactly. The word expressive and expressionism, I think, is really key to your work, because you have a looseness, you have a way of describing things that is a little off the beaten path.
That's true.
For one thing, it's this circular movement, the movement through the image, but it's the relationship of color as well, like how you choose to pull these colors together.
It's very much in the moment kind of a decision that I make, because this painting started out quite differently, and the table at one point I think was this bright sort of fuchsia color, and then I concluded, I'm not quite happy with that, so I started putting the blue over the top and then drawing through it. One of the first things that happened, though, was the use of these bits of origami paper as sort of a jumping off point, something to just, I love the textures of them and the different patterns. So I kind of stuck those around. I wasn't quite sure what I was going to do with them. This is actually music, it's Chopin music that belonged to a great aunt who was a concert pianist in Germany during the war, and she had to perform for the German officers. So there's no choice in the matter.
It was these sheets of music that she was playing.
It may well have been, because this was really old. I mean, I've got the whole book, which had lost the cover, but she sent it to me because I loved Chopin, and I was trying to learn how to play it, but unfortunately it was pretty pathetic compared with her beautiful playing. So I've had this music for years and years and years, and some of it is just far too difficult to play anyway, so I thought, I'm just going to tear it up and put it in
I really am intrigued that you add those elements, and I read a review that Robert Amos had done on your work, and he talked about basically your palette, your tool palette, your toolkit, where you have so many skills that are kind of recessed in your experiences, that suddenly, I'm going to scrape through the paint, and the idea of sgraffito and getting through to under layers.
I've got just an enormous table of supplies and whatnot that have just, anything within reach, so that I can change it up and do something different. This particular piece doesn't have a lot of texture in it, but some of my newer pieces have a great deal of texture, and I think that was what Robert was referring to, like actually, sand
tactile,
and grit and that sort of thing.
Well, Christine, I know that your work has evolved from this moment. It seems that you're an artist who kind of latches onto an idea, like your West Coast landscapes, and they were hugely successful, and every gallery that's shown them has probably begged you for more, and you've said, enough is enough, I'm doing something different. And I really admire that, because it takes a lot of courage to kind of step out of your known and comfortable boundaries and create something original again.
Well, I painted almost exclusively landscape for over 30 years, and I just felt like I'd come to a point after some very difficult personal experiences with losing family members and things. I just came to a point where I thought, what am I going to do here? I've painted, I've done this landscape for so long. I know how to do it now.
Yes.
So
Well, you've
it's not
mastered it.
it's not interesting anymore, and so I just thought I have to do something different. And I've always wanted to paint in a much more abstract way, and so now my work has evolved to the point where I'm working almost entirely non-representationally. So it's
Well, we really
still
look
lots of color.
forward to
but-
seeing some of those pieces
Yeah.
as well.
Oh,
Well,
that's
thank
great.
you so much for participating in the show, and I encourage everybody to come to the gallery and see Christine Reimer and Chrissia Gallien's work. It'll be up through the month of July.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.